great. That's all great and dandy for the Pacers, but the downside about that is the Knicks are unfortunately the downside recipients of it. We'll keep this one relatively short and quick. What's their future look like? What do you think they can kind of keep the same team to run it back together, or is there anything you could really see them do to make a change, assuming things hold true and they don't pull a 2016 Caps?
I mean, outside of Jalen and Cat, we knew this was and Michael Bridges. I think you knew the rest of this team was kind of need some work. We talked about this in the offseason. The big loss is going to be Hartenstein and what he meant to that team. Well, guess what? It's obvious now. The loss of Hartenstein means a lot to that team. You need to have that defensive big in there to help. Obviously, you see what he's doing in OKC. He's standing out. He's making Chet able to be what Chet is, and he could do the same for Cat if he was in New York still. The Knicks need to figure out the big man down low situation. It's like you need a big guy down low. You need a rim protector down low. Cat is not that anymore. He hasn't been that since he was at Kentucky, as we talked about earlier. It's a situation if you're the Knicks, especially for that whole team's mentality. You need a tone setter, and defensive tone setter, because you have the offensive tone setters. You have them. They're there. You just need that defensive tone setter. Or Michael Bridges needs to figure out what he's doing. From Brooklyn to downtown, he just forgot his game somewhere in that 12-mile stretch. I never figure that out. But this team needs to figure it out defensively first. And I think their offense is good. Their offense is going to be good. You just, if you're going to do anything, you got to make a move defensively first. I'm not saying bring Rudy Gobert to New York. Calm down, everybody. But there are talented centers in the league that can protect and can help defensively down low and easily fill that role. I mean, I look at Steven Adams as a merchant when it comes to these type of roles. He would be a perfect fit next to Cat, where you can let him go and bang and go get rebounds. Like, that would be a perfect situation if Steven Adams can end up in New York next season. Otherwise, I think the rest of the team looks good. They're getting older for where they need to get older. I mean, this team is still young. Jalen Brunson's the old man on this team. So he's 28. Like, he's not that old here. But yeah, it's a team with a lot to look forward to in the future. But you need to figure out that defense step, that defensive wall first. I think is your big purpose.
The most weird stat about the series is when you have Brunson and Cat on the court together, they're minus 18. When it's just Brunson, they're like plus 4.5. And when it's just Cat, they're plus 18. So somehow those two, we just talked about their defense, can't work together. So you need that defensive big, but I also think you need a two who can play defense and shoot. OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, whoever it is, like it's really who kind of rotates between the 2, 3, and 4, how they do it. I think one of those guys going to the bench is beneficial. Like I like OG, but he's very limited offensively. I think if you can either get a dynamic second scorer, or if you could just get somebody who could lock up so Jalen Brunson doesn't have to basically try and play defense, so you could try and hide him a little bit. That would be very beneficial too. It obviously can't happen because they don't have the assets, but somebody like Bradley Beal would be very interesting on this team because you could stagger them. I know defensively that does not help things. I'm imploring that they have a defensive big to make up for it, like a Hartstein or something. Then you can add a Bradley Beal as just somebody else who could create a shot and make a shot. Just something else to add to their offense. They don't have the assets to get anything. That's the problem. They've traded away all their assets to get Bridges and Towns, so now they're kind of stuck here. Because right now it's basically Cat, don't foul and somehow get 20 points in a quarter with the zestiest moves in your arsenal. Or Jalen Brunson, please create and save us. Everything else, like you mentioned, is a little bit Kel Bridges very hit or miss. OG's very hit or miss. They don't have a Pascal Siakam in the half court you can really give the ball to consistently. That is supposed to be Cat when he's not in foul trouble. They don't have like the Nemhards and the Naismiths who you could just dish and they could just quickly start cooking from the outside. So a little bit of shooting, I think, will help, and maybe somebody else to just create a shot. But let us know
Yeah,
down in the comments. Oh, good.
I was gonna say, I think Miles McBride has that opportunity, third year guy, going into his fourth year next year. Obviously, this is assuming the Knicks get knocked out. But if that's the case, I think Miles McBride has the opportunity to fill that two role, but it's hard to kick Josh Hart out of that role because Josh Hart has games where he gives you 20 and 20. And you're like, where did this come from? And then he'll also kick in 8 assists. Like what's happening? Like Josh Hart is that weird fix all dude. Like I need Josh Hart's random games to go into Michael Bridges, and that way you get a solid Michael Bridges, and you can get a 2 in there and to solidify everything. But yeah, I think Miles McBride has that opportunity going into next year. Speaking of Spider-Man, by the way, if he wants to wear the Miles Morales suit, then yeah, go right ahead. who, by the way, is this shoulder right here. But
If
anyways,
I can get like 41% from three from Josh Hart, just basically a knockdown shooter off those driving kicks, 90% of what we just talked about is solved too. Then maybe you put in McBride as the starting guard and then have OG come in off the bench, something like that, just to spread the offense, stagger McBride and Jalen Brunson's minutes. Think like Russ into Harden, CP3 Harden, that sort of thing too. So I think there's a path there, but there's some work to be done. And Tom Thibodeau has to play more than six guys throughout the entire regular season. You got a bench there. You could dip into it a little bit. I'm not asking you to field a football team of people out there. I just need you to bring in the bench a little bit.
like Landry Shaman's on this team. Like, play him.
He's played a little bit in the playoffs, but I mean, we could see there's 82 games you could have let him play until now. But
Yeah.
I think that would
Like,
definitely help the wear and tear.
there's a couple rookies. I believe there's a French rookie that they drafted that is a good rookie. He looked good. You just have to let him play.
Exactly.
Like,
You got to play
what are we
these
doing?
guys before the conference finals, and everyone's already tired and worn down or in foul trouble. Cat.
Yeah, it's you play your entire team through the regular season, and then you slim it up in the playoffs. And that way, in case of injury in the playoffs, you can move and adjust in the playoffs.
Exactly. You have options, or when you know Cat's going to keep putting his hand in the cookie jar, I'm going to keep complaining about it because it's been like 10 years of this, and he was such a good defender at Kentucky. I don't know what happened. Cat, if you're watching for some reason, please let me know what happened, or just don't anymore. But
Cat, if you're watching, I'm not sorry for what I said the entire time you were in Minnesota. Play down low more. Look what happens. You play well.